And hey, hello, it's Debra E. Johnson, and I am back. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This is the space where I tell of God's goodness. And so I am here today to continue talking about the book of Judges, and I'm specifically going to talk about Gideon. And Gideon was a judge, of course, if you've been going along with the story. You know from the book of Judges that the Israelites were stuck in a cycle of rebellion. They get punished and then they repent and then God will deliver them. And they went through this cycle several times over a few hundred years, I believe. And they're in full throttle of rebelling, not doing what God told them to do. And then they get punished. Some nation, some group comes in and takes over, makes them pay taxes or tribute or whatever. And they are sad and stuck. And then they repent before God, cry out to God, repent before God, and God delivers them. Well, this is again the case with Gideon. Gideon is there. The Midianites are stealing the crops from the Israelites, taking the crops from the Israelites. And so Gideon is busy trying to harvest wheat and keep it hidden from his enemies. And then the angel comes to him and tells him that, Gideon, you are a mighty man of valor, and you are going to be the next person to deliver the Israelites from their enemies. Well, of course, Gideon is surprised. He's not really sure about what he's supposed to do. He gets one set of instructions from the Lord, and he is told to destroy the statue, destroy the idol that they have in where he lives, and he does do that. Then he is told to go against the Midianite camp, and he then decides he's going to do what he normally does. He gets an army together. He has 32,000 people, men in his army. Well, by the time God gets done telling him who to let go of and how to test to make sure their hearts were right, and to make sure that Gideon and everyone else knew that it was a God-given victory, he is reduced. His army is reduced from 32,000 men to 300, just 300 people. Well, Gideon does what he's supposed to do. He then goes out. He tells his troops how to behave. I believe they are divided into three segments, so 100 men in each group, and they are told to blow trumpets, break glass jars, and then shout. And they do that as they are told to do. And so by the time they get finished, the Midianite army is routed between fear and turning on themselves. Gideon with his 300 men over thousands and thousands of men. It would have been one man versus over 1,000 men had they been trying to fight hand-to-hand combat. But God said no, he was going to give them a full victory, and he did it through divine intervention. And so Gideon with his 300 men saved the Israelites. They are excited. They are happy about that victory. Of course, who wouldn't be, right? You're no longer under oppression. And so we can see the goodness of God again, of how God allows the Israelites to go through this cycle again of rebelling, crying out, repenting, and then he delivers them. And they go through it over and over again several times, and God delivers them. And so we see the goodness of God. God is willing to tolerate what they did. He did tolerate. And so I turn to you and say, hey, how is God tolerating what you have done? What's going on in your life where you knew that God was so good to you? God took care of you. Oh my goodness, he took care of you. You had so little. You had so little, but yet you got the victory. Yet you got through what you needed to get through. You had so little money. You had so little resources. You had so little help. You needed not just money, but you needed physical help. You needed people. You needed bodies. You needed workers. And God let you get through some event. God let you get through some crisis. What has he done for you? And I'm saying to you that it's so easy to see it if you really just try to focus a little bit. I remember a time in my life when I had a hospital bill and I had to go to the hospital. I had to get it taken care of, and I didn't think the insurance was going to pay for it. And guess what? By the time it got done, not only was the insurance paying for it, but whatever I had paid, they ended up sending me back a $3 check and a refund. And so God is able to take care of us. God is able to do it. Think about your own circumstance, and when you had so little and God turned it into so much. That's counted as, I'd say, the goodness of God and even the miracle of God. God did something for the Israelites that they couldn't do. What is God doing for you that shows of his goodness that you couldn't fix? You couldn't fix for yourself. You couldn't do it. It was no way. And God fixed it for you. And so I'm encouraging you to think of his goodness in this manner. Think of what God is doing and just be excited, because you know what? It's good and he's good. and life is good. Even in the midst of a hard time, even in the midst of what's going on in our day and time, you can still look for the goodness of God in your everyday life. And even in the national circumstances, how people didn't get cut off, how things aren't as drastic as they could be, God is still good. Remember that. And as you're thinking about it, remember to tell somebody else of the goodness of God. This is Debra E. Johnson. Thank you so much for liking and sharing and subscribing and being here. And come back again and again. Come back and be with me so we can again think of God's goodness and tell it to others. Talk to you soon. Bye.